Hello friends, you are highly welcome to my channel where you learn by doing. Welcome to today's tutorial, and in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to build a fintech dashboard using ReactJS. Guys, I promise you are going to learn a lot in today's project. One of the best way to learn web development is by doing. So when you watch me create this project and you do the same thing I am doing, you are learning. Now let's take a look at the project we are about to build. Look at it, it has smooth transition effect. We are going to be learning how to create this smooth transition effect, guys. That is cool. Also, it has this 3D Visa card with front and back view. That is cool. This is awesome, guys. We'll learn how to create this card and also how to add this chart with tooltip. All right, we're going to be learning how to do this in today's tutorial. Look at the tooltip, look at the charts, makes sense, looks cool, and that is cool, guys. Now let's scroll down and see the remaining part. Look at the remaining part. This UI is very sleek, and by you building this project together with me, you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot how to build this kind of sleek modern UI. But it also has a dark mode. And you see when we click on this theme button right here, it turns to dark mode. And this is it. It looks cool. So we're going to be learning how to switch from light mode to dark mode and from dark mode to light mode, depending uh, on where it was before the user click on the theme button. Guys, this is awesome. Look at it. This is beautiful. And it's also responsive. It is very responsive. It fits perfectly well both on tablet, on mobile, and it looks very cool. So let me just reduce the weight to something like 900 and see. So let's stretch it down. Can you see it fits perfectly well on mobile? Look at it. Look at the sidebar, and let's turn back to light mode, turn back to dark mode. Awesome. And let's click here again to hide the sidebar. You see it fits perfectly well on mobile. So we're going to be learning how to create this in today's tutorial. I've also created this same kind of project using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you're interested in learning how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create this same project, you will see the link by the top right side of this video. You can click on it to go ahead and watch how to create it using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you are watching this video to this extent and you have not subscribed to my channel, guys, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Also, make sure you write your comment down below in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this project and the next project you want us to do together. Also, make sure you like the video. Like the video so that YouTube will recommend this video to more and more people. Guys, please help me grow on YouTube by subscribing to this channel, liking the video, and also share to your loved ones. Without wasting time, let's get started with the recoding. The code editor I'm going to be using for this project is VS Code, and I'll be using Firefox browser to preview my progress, all right, the code. So let's go ahead and create a new project. So I'm going to click on this Explorer icon and click on Open Folder. And right here, let me go to Desktop and let's create a new folder. Let's call it now p-react, and let's click on Create and click on Open to open it as a root folder. So let me create a new React application with Vite. All right, so I'm going to click on this to open a terminal, and we're going to create this new React application using Vite. Vite is for fast development. It helps the development process to be very fast. All right, so I'm going to say npm create Vite at latest. dot forward slash so that it will create it in this root folder. That's why I'm placing dot forward slash, and let's click on enter. Okay, right here, let me expand this. Right here, using the arrow button, navigate to React and click on enter. And also using the arrow button, click and navigate to JavaScript and click enter. As you can see, it has created a React application for us. So let me clear the terminal. Now we need to install the dependencies for this React application by using npm install. As you can see, the dependencies has been installed successfully. So let's run this application by using npm run dev. So it gives us this link. Let's hold on command, or if you're on Windows, hold on control and click on this to open it on the browser. So this is how it currently looks like. All right. So this is how it currently looks like. Let's go and then start making changes. So I'm going to go ahead, click on this to close the terminal. It's still running. The terminal is still running, but we're closing it so that we have enough space to do whatever we want to do. All right. So here I'm going to delete this app.css, and in app.js I'm going to remove all of this, including this and also this. Okay, and index of css I'm going to remove everything. Okay, and here what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to move this import of this index.css above app, the import of app.js, so that the style I will write within index.css will not override the style that is going to be within the components in the app.js. All right, so let's come over here to the assets. So I'm going to remove this React logo. Okay, and the images we're going to be making use of, if you take a look at the description section of this video, you will see the link to those images. So I'm going to drag it and drop it into this asset folder because I have them here in my computer. So look at the images. So I'm going to just highlight them and copy them. Let's hit on copy, and where I created my project is in desktop, and look at it here. So I will enter into src and enter into assets, and let's paste them here. Okay, all right, so you see those images are here right now, and these are the images we're going to be making use of in this project. Awesome. So check the description section of the video to get those images. All right, so let's go ahead and close this file. So here in the app.js, anything we write here, anything we include here, we display on our browser. So for example, let me say h1, let's say hello uh, guys, and let's say please subscribe. Guys, if you are watching this video to this extent, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. And as you can see, anytime I make changes to my code and it gets saved, it will automatically reload on the browser, and that is cool, guys. Awesome. So let's go ahead and create a folder. Let's call it dash. Let's create an index.js file. within, and let's create the dashboard component. So let's create dashboard.css file, and let's come back here and let's convert this to the import of dashboard.css. Okay, so here let me just write dashboard, and let's import the dashboard over here, and let's add it here. Let's replace this with the dashboard. So as you can see, dashboard has been added. Awesome. So I'm going to just close all of this, and let's go ahead and create another folder called components within our SRC. Okay, sorry, components. Okay, so within this component, the first component we're going to create is the sidebar. So let me create a component. Let me create a folder called sidebar, and here I'm going to create index.js within the sidebar, and let's create the component called sidebar, and let's create sidebar.css. Okay, so let's come back to the component and let's import our sidebar right here. Okay, sorry. Awesome. Let's add / after the dot. Now I'm going to write sidebar here, and let's come back to dashboard, and I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to wrap it with this empty uh, tag. All right, so I'm going to import the sidebar in my dashboard, and let's add it right here, right? Okay, so as you can see, the sidebar is added to the dashboard. There are other components we're going to be adding to this dashboard, but this sidebar is the first thing we're adding. So let's go ahead and create the sidebar. I'm going to change this to aside, and let's give it a class name of sidebar. And we are going to go ahead and add something here. I'm going to add the logo. The logo, we need to create the logo also, so that because we're going to be using logo in more than one place. So let's create it as a component on its own. So let's say logo, and we are going to create index.js for this logo and logo.css. All right, so I'm going to come to the index.js and create a logo component, and let's import our logo.css. Awesome. So right here, I'm going to give this guy a class name of logo. Okay, and we're going to be using icon as logo. So to be able to use an icon as logo, we need to include an icon library called Lucid icon. So let's go to the browser. We'll search for Lucid. All right. So here is Lucid, and let's come to the package, and we want to make use of it here in the React app. So let's switch this to npm, and let's copy this installation command, and let's come back to our project. Click here to open the terminal. So you see here is where our application is running, at the terminal where our application is running. Let's add another terminal. We're going to be using this new terminal to install dependencies. So as you can see, our application is still running on the first terminal. So let's use the second terminal. Let's paste it here, the command, and click enter to install. As you can see, it has been installed successfully. So let me click this to hide the terminal once again. And here I'm going to import the icon we're going to be making use of. Also, you can come to here, click on icon, and let's search for the icon we're going to use. You can search for any icon you wish to use. I'm going to be using this particular one, and I'm going to click here to copy the name, copy the component name of the icon, and let's come over here and import, paste the component name I copied, and we're going to import it from Lucid React. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that icon right here. So I'm going to give it class name. Let's give it a class name of primary, and let's say logo icon. Awesome. Next, let's write h1, and within this h1 I'm going to say now, and I'm going to create a span, and then give it a class name of primary, and let's write p over here. Awesome. So let's write some CSS code for the logo. So select the logo, and we're going to display it to reflect, align the items. Okay, align the items to the center, and let's give it a gap of 5 pixels will be fine. And let's give it a font family, but we have not gotten, we need to get the font family we need to give it. So let's go to Google Fonts. Let's come over here and let's search for fonts.google.com. All right, so I'm going to just empty this. So let's come here. Let's search for an icon called ATAR. All right, this particular one. So we are going to click on get to get it. Okay, and let's come over here again. Let's search for another icon uh, called robot to look at it here. We're not going to need to search for it, it's already here. So we get it also, it's already added to our cart. And another icon we're going to be making use of is pop-ins. Pop-ins, look at it here, and let's get it. And they are already added to our cart. As you can see, we have a three of them right here. We have Roboto, pop-ins, Ether. Let's go ahead and click on Get Embed Code. And before I will get the embed code, let's go to okay, we can just go straight and come over here. Let's change this to at import. Make sure this is on web, guys, and let's change this to at import and click here to copy this code. So where we're going to be adding this link, all right, is in our index.css right here. So let's add it, and let's remove this style tag, since style tag cannot be added within a CSS file, right? Because this is not a HTML file. Okay, so we have added that. So here I'm going to make use of this font, all right? And if the font does not exist, if there's any issues, we'll make use of sans serif. So, but if you take a look at this, you see that we have the fonts here. Look at the name, look at the second one, pop-ins, and roboto. Look at it here. Okay, so let me close this file for now, and let's continue. So I'm going to style again the logo icon. So let's give the logo icon a width of, or let's not even bother about that. So let's just go to it directly. Let's give it a size of 30, just 30 will be fine. And let's take a look at how this looks like. Let me refresh this. Uh, okay, we have not added it to sidebar. So let's come to the sidebar and let's import logo. Okay, and let's call it here. Let's convert this one to it logo. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. currently. And that is awesome, guys. Awesome. So I'm going to come over here. There's no need of adding this class since we didn't make use of it. Okay. So we have added the logo to our sidebar, all right? And that is good. So I'm going to remove this and also remove this, close it. So what we're going to do next is to create the tabs for this sidebar. So I'm going to say tabs. So let's create a tab within. And within this tab, I'm going to create using this anchor tag. I'm going to give it a class name of item. And let's I'm going to import this icon. You can go to Lucid React and Lucid icon and search for the icon, but I already know them, so I'll not waste time, going to search for them. I will just write the name here, import them, and make use of them, right? So I'm going to say layout dashboard. So as you can see, it's imported from Lucid React. So I'm going to make use of it here. And I am going to come over here, right history, and let's see dashboard. All right. So I'm going to copy this tab and duplicate and make changes to them. So I'm going to say, I'll paste it. Sorry, I copy this. Okay. And I'm going to change the icon. Let's see, message, no, message cycle. So you see this message cycle, you see it has already been imported here automatically for me. And let's change it to messages. And on this one, I'm going to add a div and give it a class of count. So that is the messages count. So let's say 9 plus. And I'm going to paste another tab. And we're going to change the icon. Or let's change this one to, let's say, scroll chest. And you see scroll chest has been imported over here for me automatically. And let's go ahead and change this to invoices. All right. So let me add another one. So this, I'm going to change this one to wallet. And you see wallet has been imported here automatically. Okay, so let's change it text to wallet. So the next, we are going to change this one to, let's see chat column big. Okay, and it has already been imported here. In fact, let me bring this, let's bring it down. Awesome. Okay, so let's change the title to analytics, and let's paste another one again. So here I'm going to change this to, let's see, monitor dots. And as you can see, it has been imported. And let's change this to my activity. And next, paste another one again. So this, I'm going to change this to settings. And as you can see, settings has been imported. And let's write settings here. Okay, that is cool. Awesome. So this is the end of the tab. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do, let's create another div here. So let's give it a class of button, and right here I'm going to create items tabs. All right, and I'm going to create an item tab. So within this, I'm going to use an icon. Let's see, hand helping, and this hand helping is also imported right now. Look at it here. So I'm going to use page 3 here, and let's see, gate help, and I'm going to duplicate this guy, this one. Let's duplicate it, and I'm going to change the icon to span none, and let's go ahead and change this to 10. All right, so you see sun moon is already imported here also, and that is awesome. So after this, let's come down here and let's create user. Okay, so here in the user, I'm going to create the profile, and I'm going to say image. We're going to be using a profile image, which is in our assets folder. Look at the profile image we're going to be using. So what I'm going to do right now is to import it. So let's import the profile image by saying profile. We can name it anything we wish, but the folder, we must trace it very correctly. If not, it won't work. So it's an asset folder, and it's called profile.jpg. Okay, and let's come over here and write profile. Okay, so if you notice, I'll be using class name instead of class. The reason is because in ReactJS, you don't write class because class is an inbuilt keyword. All right, so instead of writing class, you use class name. All right, so let's create another one. Let's say details. So here I'm going to use h4 name, and we're going to write a name. Let's say manual easy, and let's go ahead and create p.legend. That's the user here. Awesome. So we are done with the markup. Look at it and take a look at how it looks like here. See, it doesn't look good at all, which means we need to do something. We need to attach CSS to this in order for it to look good. Awesome. So let's go ahead and write some CSS code. So the first thing we need to do before we write a CSS code in the sidebar.css, let's go first of all to our index.css and write the general styles. So here in the index.css, we'll write the general styles in the sense that we will reuse it in multiple places. So we need to write it here so that we're not going to be repeating code each time we want to write something like that. So we're going to write the general style here. So, but before we start writing the style, let's get the variables we're going to be making use of. I have the CSS variable right here. So these are the variables we're going to be making use of. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it right here. So these are the variables. Okay, so here we have the one we're going to be making use of in dark theme. So in the dark mode, we're going to change this, we're going to add these variables. And when we add this, it will override the one that is here. All right. So for example, as you can see, you see UI base. This color here is dark, but here it is light, it is white here. So whenever we change to dark mode, this dark color will override the white color, and that is how it works for others. All right, so now let's go ahead and write the general styles. Okay. Let's start by using universal selector. We're going to make sure that everything has a padding of 0 and a margin of 0, and also a box size of border box, a border of none, also outline of none, the HTML on the body. We are going to make sure that it has a height of 100 VH. VH actually stands for viewport height. So the seeable height, it will occupy the seeable height. Let me just put it that way. So the font family we are going to be using is this guy. And if something went wrong, it doesn't exist, we use sans serif. Let's see, background, let's say it should be UI base, and overflow will be hidden. Also overflow y, that is overflow in the let's say the y axis, it should be auto. So if it is overflowing, it will be be scrollable. All right, and let's change the color to bar. Let's color. So the next thing I'm gonna do is let's tie this anchor tag. Let's see, the color will be text color, and the decoration will be none, so that by default anchor tag has underlined. So we'll disable that underline by saying decoration none. So let's see, font weight here should be 500. Then let's see, the font size should be 17 pixels, and history font weight 500, font size should be 15 pixels. Awesome. Now let's select H4. Let's give it a font size, a font weight of 400. Also, let's select the image. For the image, we're going to give it a width of 100% and a height of 100%. Let's give it a minimum height of 100%. And for the image not to shrink, let's give it object fit of cover. Let's give it a value of cover. It will prevent the image from shrinking. So let's say block, display block. Okay, now let's type the button. By default, button has a background, a gray background. Let's remove that by saying transparent, and let's make the cursor to the pointer. Also, let's type the input. Input by default, let's make the width to be 100%, and also let's make the overflow to be hidden, and let's make the background to be transparent because it has a gray background by default. And let's give it a height of 40 pixels, and let's give it a padding. Top and bottom should be 0, left and right should be 10 pixels. Awesome. So Next, let's add a font size to it. The font size should be 15 pixel and the color should be the text color. Now let's style the input placeholder using the placeholder pseudo class. So by default, it has some kind of opacity, but I'm going to change the color to text color, and let's make the opacity to be 1 so that it will have a pure color that we specify. Now, let me create the primary column. If you notice, while creating the logo, I use this primary. So let's see that the primary we have the primary color. Next, let's see muted. I also use this somewhere in the sidebar. So let's see color should be text muted. And this is success. We're not using success now, but we'll use it soon. So let's see, it should be bar color success. And let's see danger. Color will be color danger. And let's warning. Awesome. So next, let's start the profile. I've used this profile in the sidebar. So we're going to make sure that the width is 2.8 pixel and height is 2.8 pixel. So make sure that it will not shrink no matter what. Let's do this. Let's make sure that the minimum width is 2.8 pixel and also uh, the minimum height and also the max width and max height. And here, sorry, we're not going to be using pixel as a unit of measurement here. So I'm going to highlight this first one and click on Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D to select the occurrences, and let's delete this and change it to rem. Awesome. So let's keep on going. So we're going to give overflow hidden and a border radius of 100%, and that is cool. If you take a look at this profile here, see how it is. So let's say the icon wrapper, let's give it a padding of 10 pixel. Let's create this, though we are not using this class yet. I'm not using it yet, but we're going to use it soon. So I'm going to give it a width of 2 rem and a height of 2 rem, and also to make sure it doesn't shrink. Let's do this min width, height, max width, or max height. Okay, and that is it. So also let's display it. Let's align the items to the center, justify the content to the center, and let's give it a background of UI secondary and a castle of pointer, and let's style the icon that will be within. In fact, let's just leave the icon. We can do that later on, but we can see, let's just say width should be 18 pixel, height should also be 18 pixel, and let's say BTN there. So for the BTN, I'm going to say padding top and bottom 15 pixel, left and right 20 pixel, and let's give it a border radius of 20 pixels, and let's give it a font size of 16 pixels, and a background of UI secondary, and a display of inline flex. So it is a flex element, but it is inline at the same time. And let's give this a background of primary and a color of color white. Okay, awesome. So we have come to the end of this general style. So this will help us not to repeat code. Awesome. So look at it. As you can see, the sidebar look different now. It looks a little bit presentable. So we can now go ahead, close this index.css, and let's go to sidebar.css and write the code. So we are going to go ahead and select this sidebar. All right, so we're going to make use of it here, and let's say the width should be 250 pixels, height should be 100%, but then the minimum height should be 100 viewport height. Display to be flex, and we'll make the flex direction to be column, and we justify the content to space between, align the items to stretch, and next we are going to give it some transition. We already have a transition variable, so let's just give it to it, and let's give it a pattern right of 20 pixels will be fine, and also let's give it a border right for, let's say, solid. Let's use something like 2.5 pixel, and we're going to use the border variable, which is a color. So let's say position, let's fix it because we don't want it to scroll. And let's say the left should be 0, and offset from the top should also be 0. And let's make it a z, give it a z index of like 100. So the z index is to start it at the top, right? I think this sidebar will have the highest z index in this project. So let's give it a background of UI base, and let's give it overflow of hidden and overflow y. So the when it overflows in the y axis, we're going to give it auto. So the purpose of giving it auto is for it to show a scroll bar when it is overflowing. It won't show a scroll bar until it starts overflowing. So let's also select the logo within it. This logo, as you can see, is touching the edge. Let's give it a padding of 20 pixels, and that will be fine. As you can see, it comes out right now. So let's select the tabs. Let's make this in a flex 1 so that it occupy the remaining space within the justify the flexed container, right? So any remaining space it will occupy it. That's why we give it a flex of 1. Let's give the margin top and bottom 20 pixels. Margin left and right is 0. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is let's select the tab itself. So for the tab, let's give it some padding left of 20 pixels, and also position it already, and let's give it a margin of 10 pixels top and bottom, left and right is 0. let's say the cursor is pointer, and next I'm going to see tab. Let's come back to the sidebar. You see this first one, the first tab. I'm going to add active to this. Okay, so I'm going to see tab.active, which means it has a class name, element that has this a class name of tab and active at the same time. So let's give it after pseudo class. So we're going to give it a content, empty content. Let's do this, and let's give it a position of absolute, and we're going to say offset from the top 0, left should also be 0, and let's give it a height of 100%, and let's give it a width of 4 pixels. Let's give it a background of primary, and let's give it a border radius of let's say uh, 20 pixel, 20 pixel here. So this is your top left, top right, uh, bottom right, bottom left. All right. So that is cool. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to do, let's refresh this. Let's think this is not catching up. So by this time, this is supposed not to look this way. So let's come back and take a look at this critically. We have tab, and okay, all right, okay. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll find the problem later on. But in order to finish, just verify this. Let's see background red. Okay. So if this code is correct, so what could be the issue there? All right. Okay. This word active is not correct. So you see, we now have that here. Look at it. The one I have active, and that is cool. Okay, so let me say Sidebar, and let's select the item within this tab, and we're going to display to place. Let's align the items to the center, and let's give them a gap of 7 pixels and a padding of 10 pixels, and a color of let's give it a color of brown text rated 2, and let's give it a border radius of let's say 21 pixels, and let's do the transition of brown transition. Awesome. So on hover of this, let's write some code. On hover, we need to give it a background from UI secondary, okay, and let's give it a color. Let's color, and we're going to transform it So the transformation will be we're translating the X and the say temperature. And this is what this will do. Look at it. See, awesome. That's cool. So let's go ahead and select the one that has active, and we are going to give it background. We're going to use RGBA, and let's say primary RGB is a variable we have in our index.css file, and let's say 0.1, and let's give it a color of brown. Let's use an array. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and select the count. So for the count, this message count here, I'm going to give it a background primary, and let's give it a padding of 5 pg 8 pg, and let's give it a border radius of 50 pg, and the color of color white, and also let's give it a radius of pattern, and let's give it font size of 12 pg. Okay, and that is cool. So what we are going to do here is let's select the button. So for this button, let's give it a padding of 20 pg, and let's select the uh, items, the item tab, item tabs. So in the item tabs, we're going to give it the margin top and bottom of 20 pg, left and right of 0, and let's select the item tab itself, and let's display it to flex, and the items to center, and let's do the gap of 10 pg, and also do the margin 20 0, and a cursor pointer. Awesome. Now the thing we need to do now is let's select the user. So for the user, display to flex, align the items to center, and give it some gap, like 70 will be fine. Now, that is it. This is awesome, guys. So I'm still noticing that this one is not changing. So let's come there. Let's go there. So okay, let me change this to just icon tab, and that is cool. So as for this team switch button here, we're going to come back later and make it to actually work, to be able to change from lighting to darkening, and from darkening to lighting. All right. So we're going to make it work later on. So the thing we need to do next is this. We are going to make this responsive. So let's say sidebar responsive code. So I'm going to say media here, media screen, and the mouse width of let's say 1180 pixel. We are going to select the sidebar, and I'm going to give it a width of 100%,
and a max width of 320 pixels, and let's say the left should be minus, let's just say 370 pixels so that it will completely go out of the way. You can see on a smaller screen it will be hidden. You look at it, but in a bigger screen it's showing. So we're going to do something here. Let's pass a prompt here. Let's call it open. And I'm going to come here. Let's use curly brace to start this, and let's use backtick so that we'll be able to add JavaScript within this. So I'm going to say if open, if it is true, I'm going to add a class called open. So later on, I'm going to make this work. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and say sidebar, and if it has a class also that is open, I'm going to move the left to 0. Awesome. So this is cool. So let's make this work. And we are done with the sidebar for now. Now let's go ahead to our dashboard and make the sidebar work. So right here, we'll make the sidebar to function properly. So I'm going to create this. Let's call it a state. Is a state, or call it open, and also we set open for the function to reset the open state. So I'm going to say use state here. So use state, I'm going to pass false to it. So the default value is false. And as you can see, use state is imported from React. So I'm going to come here and say open, and I'll pass the open to it. Awesome. We're going somewhere, guys. So let's create, let's go ahead and create a main element here. So within this main, we're going to add every other thing we need to add in this application. So before I continue, let's write some code, CSS code for the main. Okay, so for the main, I'm going to select it right here, and we are going to give it a padding left of 250, which is the width of our sidebar, and let's give it a width of 100% also, and a max width we're giving to it is 100 viewport width. So VW stands for what? Viewport width. Awesome. So this we need to also make this responsive. So let's say it's media here, and let's add on the screen, and let's see max width, and the max width is 1080 pixel. Let's see the main. We need to now reset the padding left to 0, because then our sidebar is already hidden. All right. So let's close this, and let's go ahead and create the next component. So the next component I want to create is the navbar. Okay. So uh, let's create the index.js file, and also let's create navbar.css, and let's create the component, the index.js file, and let's import the CSS here, navbar.css, and let's come back to the dashboard. I'm going to import the navbar right here. Let me move this up here. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to add the navbar within right here. Okay, so inside this navbar, let's add something on menu click. Okay, on menu click, we are going to pass it here. Let's say on menu click. So on menu click, let's execute this set open. And we're saying that's not open. So which means if open is true, it will invert it to be false. And if it is false, it will invert it to become true. That is awesome, guys. So let's come to the nav. Let's change this to nav. Awesome. And we're going to give it some class name. Let's call it navbar. Awesome. So um, we are going to import the logo here. Let's import the logo and we add it right here. And next thing we're going to do, let's create what I call search bar, and let's create an input for it, and let's give it a placeholder of search. Let's just say history and write anything you wish, and let's say icon wrapper. So the icon we're going to use is the search icon imported from Lucid React. Awesome. Now, the next thing we're going to do after creating this search container is let's go ahead and create the user, and I'm going to create icon wrapper, and within this icon wrapper we're going to say add an icon called bell ring, and it's also imported from Lucid React. Okay, and after that, let's see, let's create a profile and we add the image. So let's import our profile image from the assets folder. So let's say profile here. You can name it anything you wish to name it. So we're importing it from the asset folder profile.jpg. Yeah, and let's add it here as the value of src outside. So that is cool. Now after the profile, I'm going to come over here and let's use this class name for the first time, which was created in the index.css file. Okay, so I'm also going to give it another class name called menu.bgn, and let's use the menu icon imported from Lucid React. Look at it here, imported from Lucid React, and I'm going to say on click of this, we're going to execute on menu click, and that is awesome. So look at this menu icon. If I click on it, you see what will happen. You see the sidebar appears when I click on it, and that makes a lot of sense, guys. It makes sense. Awesome. So that is cool. So let's go ahead and style our nav bar. So to get started styling this nav bar, we copy this class name. Let's start by saying display list, and align items should be center, and justify content. Let's say let's end, and let's give them some gap of 30 people, and also a padding of 10 people, 20 people. Now let's select the logo. So on a big screen, we don't want the logo on the navbar to show, all right? But before then, I want to move it to the left side by saying margin right auto, and let's display it to none. We're going to display it back on the smaller screen. So let's select the search bar, and also let's select the user. Let's display them less and align the items to the center. Next, let's select the search bar itself, and let's give it a border of solid 1.0 bar border. And let's give it a border radius of 10 and let's give it a pattern of 0 and 10 Okay. Now let's select the user and let's give it a gap of 20 pixel. Awesome. Now, for this menu BTN, we're not going to display it until we are on a smaller screen. That's when we are going to display it, and that makes sense, right? So for the user, let's come back to this. So this user, okay, there's a kind of mistake here. Okay, so the mistake is that we need to use this div here. Awesome. And this is how it looks like. So this icon wrapper needs to be closed here. Yeah. So just make the correction, guys, and let's go ahead and hide the menu region on the bigger screen. It should be display none. Now let's go ahead and write the navbar responsive code. So here we are going to use a media query and let's say 1080, and let's go ahead and position this to sticky, and let's give it a top of 0 and also left of 0, and let's give it a z index of 90. So the z index must be below the z index of the sidebar. Remember, we gave the sidebar a z index of 100. So the reason why this z index must be below 100, which we gave to the sidebar, is because we want the sidebar to appear on top of the navbar when it comes out. All right. So let's give it a background of UI base. Awesome. So next, let's go ahead and display the logo, and also we're going to display the menu region. Let's display them to left. Awesome. And that is cool. So look at it. You see it? This is awesome, guys. This is cool. So the next thing we need to do is take a look at this. We need to hide this search bar at some point. So let's come over here. Let me just copy this line, and then you come here. Let's fix this. I'm going to change this to 600 pixel. So at 600 pixel, let's go ahead and let's select the search bar, and let's display it to no, and that is it. So take a look. Awesome. So look at the code. We are done with the navbar, and let's go ahead and do some more, create other ones. So right after the navbar, let's go ahead and create. I'm going to create a section. I'm going to give it a class of container. So within this container, we're going to create two columns. Okay, and before we continue, let's come to dashboard.css. Let's write code for this container. All right, so we're going to select the container, and we are going to first of all give it a display of grid, and let's give it a grid template column for say 400 pixel, then auto, and let's go ahead and give it a padding button of 70 pixel. Now there are other classes that will be within the components we're going to be placing within container. So we need to write those code for those classes so that we'll not be repeating code whenever we're creating those components. So let's go ahead and say container. First of all, let's start the column by giving it a padding of 20 pixel. Now let's say that every title within a container, okay, we have a margin button of 40 pixel, and next, every icon within the container, we have a width of 45 pixels. Next is that every row, we have a display of flex and align items of center and justify content space between. And also, let's type the currency. So we are going to give every currency within this a font size of 33 pixel and weight of 500, the color of brown. Okay, and let's say container here, input, and let's say flex one. And the next thing we're going to do is let's give it a font size of 33 pixel and font weight of 500. And next, let's say container, and let's say profile. We are going to give this a width of 1.5 rem and a height of 1.5 rem. So in order to prevent shrinking, let's do it the way we do it. Okay. And max height also. So uh, let's also add, let me copy this. Let's add the responsive code for the container here. So at 900 pixel, the container, let's select it, should have a grid template column of 100%. And now it's awesome. So I can look it. Okay, so let's close this and let's go and create the next component. So the next component we're going to create is called the Visa card, the 3D Visa card. So let's call it Visa card. Yeah. And let's create the index index.jss, and also the style. Now, uh, let's come back to the index and create the component visa card, and let's import visa card.css. Let me just write visa card here, and let's come out to the dashboard. Let's import the visa card, and on this first column, let's add it. Awesome. So as you can see, we have visa card here. So let's come over to the visa card and let's write some code. So I'll start by giving this a class name of visa card, and let's create a div called front, and let's create another div called back. All right, that is a class of front and a class of back. Let's work on the front first before we now go to work on the back. So I'm going to add this ng. I'm going to give it a class name of map image, that is a map img. So the map we're going to use, if you take a look at it, you see word.svg. And let's import the word. You can name it anything, but I'm going to decide to use that word. So asset to word.svg. So let's add it right here. Word. Awesome. So after this, let's create a row. So within this row, I'm going to create image. I will give it a class name of icon, and I'm going to duplicate this. All right. So I'm going to import this image, this one. So I'll just import it, and the png, and also let's import the visa.png. Okay, so I'm going to remove this, and let's add G, and also let's come over here and remove this and add visa. Awesome. So the next thing we need to do is let's come out of this, and let's say row dot card number. Okay, and here let's add the card number. So I'm going to say, I will just duplicate and make the changes, and let's and let me just use 39 here, and that is cool. So after this, let's go ahead and create another row, and we're going to call this one folder. Okay, and let's see folder here, and just duplicate, and I'm going to write value 0. Okay, so after this one, let's create another row. Okay, and in this one, I'm going to create this, and I'm going to duplicate it, and let's see this. Okay, and awesome. So now we are done with the front. Let's go to the back. So here in the back, I'm going to still add the word image here, and let's give it a class name for map ng. Now let's create uh, let's create a bar, and after that, we're going to create a row, and let's call it card CVV, and again let's add an image here. So I'm going to import this image, this one, pattern.jpg. So I'm going to say, yeah, and let's add it here. That is awesome. So let's add here. Let's add this. Okay. So after this row, let's go ahead and create another row. So we're going to see card. Let's say card here. Okay, so I'm going to create this paragraph. Let's see. Okay, let's try this way. Okay, so after this one, let's come here again. Let's create another row. This time let's call this one signature, and let's say customer signature here. And let's give it this image. We're going to add visa, and we're going to give it a class name icon. Awesome. So I'm basically done with this markup. We'll close the sidebar so that you can see everything very well. Awesome. So let's go ahead and write some CSS code for this. So let's come here and let's give this a height of 230 pixels, a color of color white will be fine. And let's give it a perspective of 1000 pixels. Okay. Uh, I'm going to do something back in this code. So let's come back to this. Let's create this account in now. All right. So within here, I'm going to copy every other thing we have and place it within both the back and the front. So let's place it. See, it's now place it within this new elements that are created. So this is covering all of them. So after the Visa card, the next thing that is covering every other thing is Visa card inner. So let's write style for this Visa card inner. We want to give it a rate 100% and hide 100% position ability, and let's transform our transition we need to say. So we're going to say transfer 1 second, and let's give it transform style. Let's preserve the 3D. Now let's go ahead style the front and also the back. We are sharing common style here. So let's give it a root 100% and height of 100%, and let's give it a background of let's say background image, right? So background image, let's use linear gradient, and let's say 45 degree, and I'm going to use this color of 45 C7, and let's say bar, let's use the primary color here, and the next thing we need to do is just position this as absolute, and let's do it to top of 0, and let's say the length of 0, let's give it to padding of 20 pixels top and bottom, left and right is 30 pixels, and let's give it to border radius of 15 pixels, and overflow of freedom, and 10 index of 2. And the next thing we need to do is let's say back face visibility hidden, and let's give it a box, let's say box shadow, box shadow of let's say shadow 3. Awesome. So let's go ahead and start the map image. So for the map image, let's give it a rate of 100%, and let's position it to the absolute, and let's top 0 and left 0, and let's give it opacity of 0.2 and the Z index of 1. Awesome. So let's select the card number to do the font size of 20 pixels, and imagine top of 30 pixels. Now let's go ahead and choose the name row. So for before we even work on the name, let's choose the card holder first. So for the card holder, let's change the font size to 40 pixels, and also the margin top of let's say 30 pixels, and let's select the name, and let's say font size to be 15 pixels, and the margin top should be 20 pixels. Awesome. So the next thing I'm going to do is let's select the bar, and let's give it a background or color. Let's say color dark, and we are going to give it something like let's say imagine top and bottom should be 0, left and right should be minus 30 pixel. And again, let's go ahead and give it a height of 40 pixel. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and try the class CBB, and let's give it a margin top pixel, and let's give it a background of UI base, and let's select the div within the card CBB, and let's place it to be okay. Awesome. Now let's select the image. So for the image, let's give it a width of 100%, and let's give it a height of 40 pixels, and line height of 0. So let's select P. So we're going to give it a color text images, and the font size of 18 pixels. Also, let's give it a padding of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and that will be cool. Okay, now let's come back here. And let's select the card text. So for the card text, let's give it the font size of 4 pixels, and also let's give it a margin top of 10 pixels. Awesome. Now the next one we need to select is the signature. For the signature, let's give it a margin top of 10 pixels will be fine. And the next thing we need to select is the back. Let's add some functionality to it. First of all, let's transform it, and we rotate the Y axis to 180 degree. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is when the Visa card is over, we need to select the Visa card inner, and let's just copy this transform there, and let's paste it here. Awesome. So let's take a look at it. Can you see? Need to move over. It shows the back of the card, and that is good. Awesome. This makes sense, guys. So we are done with this section. Let's go ahead and create other section.
Let's go ahead and create the next section. So the next section we're going to be creating, or the next component, is the send money component. So let's call it send money. Okay. So we're going to say send money, and let's create the index.js and also the style, and let's create the component send money, and let's add import the style here, and let's come back to the dashboard, and let's import send money,
and let's add it right after the Visa card. Awesome. Now right here, let's give this a class name. Let's send money, and let's give it a title. Let's say h2 dot title. Let's send money. Okay, so what we're going to do basically is that let's create a row here, and let's call it balance. Okay, and we're going to create a div here, and let's use h1, and let's see the balance is $56,000, and let's create a paragraph here, and I'm going to create a span, and I'm going to give it a class name of success. So I'm going to write loss 2.03%, and right after that we write in a bracket here, which will be amounting to 1,137. Awesome. Now the next thing we need to do after this is let's come over here and let's create a button. I'm going to give it a class name of add font begin, and let's add an image to it. So the image we're going to be using here is this mastercard.png image. So let's import it. Dot .png. Okay, so let's place it here. So I'm going to give it a class name icon. So and after this, let's write add font. Awesome. So after that, let's come over here and let's create amount. So in the amount, I'm going to create a row, and let's create a class name of user, and let's create profile, and let's create image here. Let's go ahead and import the profile picture. So it's JPG. So we're going to add the profile picture here, and after this, let's come here and let's write p.muted, and let's see, enter the amount. Awesome. Now next thing we need to do is let's say row dot price input. So right here we are going to say p currency, and I'm going to put the currency, and after inputting the currency, let's create an input and give it a placeholder 0.00, and let's create a row. So within this row, let's create a profile. So I'm going to add an image. So the image I'm going to add is this US flag and ng flag. Okay, so .svg, that is the extension, and also let's import US. Okay. So actually for the US is .png, and right here I'm going to add ng flag, and let's duplicate this. I'll just hold Shift Alt and arrow down to duplicate, and let me change this one to US. Awesome. Now that we have this, that is the amount. Let's click it. So this is the start of the amount, and this is the end. So here I'm going to create a row, and let's give it another class of receiver, and here I'm going to say profile. Okay, so the profile will be image. So the receiver, we need to import the receiver, this image. So let's import let's say JPG. Awesome. So I'm going to add the receiver here. Awesome. Now after that, this, let me create let's say history. Let's see Jennifer easy, and I'm going to create that icon again, and let's see plus here. So this plus is imported from Lucid React. Look at it here. It's imported from Lucid React. Also, now we are going to come after this. Let's come down here. Let's create button btn primary. So we're going to give it a class of send money btn, and let's just write send money here. Awesome. So now let's take a look at this, and we'll go ahead and style it. So I'm going to just say copy this, and let's come over here, and we are going to give this a margin top of 60 pixels. Also, let's select the balance, and let's give it a padding of 20 pixels, and a box shadow of shadow 1, and border radius of 20 pixels, and a flow of hidden. Also, let's select the add font detail. Let's display it to reflect, and align the items to the center, and also let's go ahead and give it a font size 16 pixel, and the padding top and bottom should be 10 pixel, and left and right should be 20 pixel. Also, let's give it a border radius of 10 pixel. Okay, 20 pixel will be fine. Okay, so let's give it a box shadow for, let's use shadow 2, and next thing is let's give it a background for UI base. Next, let's give it a color of text color, and the next thing we need to do is let's say let's select the balance, then the icon within. We need to give it a width of 30 pixel, and then let's go ahead and select the amount. So as for the amount, let's give it a padding top and bottom of 10 pixel, left and right, padding left and right 20 pixel, and the margin top of 20 pixel, and also let's give it a border radius 20 pixel, and a dot shadow of shadow 2, and also the background of UI base. Now let's see amount, and let's select the user. So as for the user, we're going to specify the content to let's start, and let's give it a gap for inclusion. So the next thing we need to select is the price input. So as for the price inputs, let's just supply the content to let's start, and also give it a margin top of 20 pixel, and we are going to give it a width of 100%. Awesome. So now that we are done with that, let's go ahead and select the receiver. So for the receiver, give it a margin top of 40 pixel, and let's give it a padding of 10 pixel, 20 pixel, and let's justify the content of let's start, and let's give it a tab. Okay, let's give it a gap of 10 pixel. Awesome. So the next thing we need to do is let's say receiver dot rounded icon region. We need to give it a margin left of auto, and next we need to also give it a background of let's see RGB, let's see bar primary RGB, and let's use 0.1, and let's see color primary. So the next thing is let's see send money BTM. Let's give it a display of block, and also a width of 80%. let's give it some margin. Margin top, margin top and bottom 30 pixel, left and right should auto so that it will be at the center. And this is what you see here. This is awesome, guys. This is awesome. This is cool. So we are done with this section, and we'll go to the next section. So let me close this and close this, and let's go ahead and create the next session. The next component we need to create is the quick transfer component. So I'm going to just say quick transfer, and we need to go ahead and write index.js here, and create the CSS. Right, so let's create a component, click transfer, and let's go ahead and import the CSS. And let's come back to the dashboard, and let's import quick transfer. And after send money, let's add it, and let's come back to quick transfer here and write some code. I'm going to give it a class name of quick transfer, and let's give it some title, and let's see quick transfer. And the next thing we're going to do is let's row, and let's see available balance, and let's see p that's meter, and let's see balance each one, and let's see 60. Awesome. And the next thing we need to do is let's come over here. I'm going to say transfer input, and right here I'm going to say p.muted, and I'm going to say enter amount here. And after this, let's skip down and create a row. So I'm going to say I'm going to create the currency, and let's use the plus sign. And right here, I'm going to create an input, and let's give it a placeholder 0.00. Now after the input, let's create a row. So this it's exactly the same thing we had in our send money component. So you see right here we created a row, and we have the ng flag and us flag. So let me just copy this. Let me just write in scratch. So just copy it and paste here. Now for the imports, let's come back to send money, and let's grab the import, and let's paste it here. Sorry, let's copy it and paste. Awesome. I can now close this one. So we have this right here. Awesome. So we started this row from here, and then here. Now we are going to create another row, and we're going to call it action buttons. So here I'm going to create an item, and I'm going to create the rounded icon btn. And right here, I'm going to use an icon called send. I'm importing this send from Lucid React. Awesome. Now, after this, I'm going to say p dot created here, and I'm going to write send. So this item, I'm going to copy it, and I'll paste and edit. So for the second one, I'm going to change the icon to hand coin. So this hand coin is also imported from Lucid React, and let's change this text to receive. Receive. Okay. Now when you press on another item, and this time we're going to use row test. Scroll test is also imported from the Lucid React, and I'm going to change this to invoice. Okay, so the next one I'm going to paste is I'm going to use a Google icon, and look at it here. It's imported from Lucid React, and let's change the text to more. Also, so this is it. And if you see, take a look at it here, it doesn't really look that good. So let's go ahead and style it by copying this. So I'm going to come here and let's give it padding top and bottom 20 pixel, padding left and right 30 pixel, and let's give it a color of solid 1.5 pixel, and then bar border. Now let's give it a margin top for 40 pixel, and the color ranges at 20 pixel. Let's select the available balance, and the available balance will be the moving button of the 30 pixel. And that is free. Awesome. So let's go ahead and select the transfer increase. So for the transfer increase, let's do it in order. That's solid 1.5 pixel. Sidebar canal. So the next thing is let's see 120 pixel, and let's see whether it is 20 pixel. And next thing is let's style the mix the and then let's do the margin bottom and then set the awesome. So the next thing we need to do is specify the action button. So for this action button, so give it a margin of 50, and uh, let's give it some padding. Padding top and bottom is 20, padding left and right is 0, and also let's give it a silent center. Awesome. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to select the rounded icon again. Okay, so I want to give it a weight of 2.5 gram, and also a height of 2.5 gram. And in order to prevent shrinking, let's copy this. Let's duplicate it. We would shift and alt and arrow down in order to duplicate. So let's mean width, mean height, that is minimum height, maximum width, and maximum height. So let's go ahead and give it a border. Let's see, solid 1.5 pixel border, and that's correct. So you see, if you take a look at this, you see that it has been positioned to be it has been displayed to be flex here, and it is aligned to the center and justified to the center. So the icon will definitely stay at the center. Now let's give it some margin here. So I'm going to say margin button. Let's say 20 pixel, and let's see the border radius now. Should also be 20 pixel. Awesome. So let's add some. Let's see add the item. Let's give it a transition. Transition. Okay, and let's give it a cursor finder. And let's say item on hover, and also comma with item. And let's say item when it's being hovered on. Let's select the muted, and let's give them a color of var, and that is cool. So look at it. If you win it over, this is how it looks like. So that is cool. This is awesome, guys. This is really cool. So what we do next, we are done with this quick transfer, and we go ahead and create the next component. We'll create the cash flow component. Let's say cash, let's say call it cash flow. And let's create the index.js, and also let's create the style, and let's come back to the index and create the component cash flow, and let's import the style, and let's come back to here, the dashboard, and let's import the cash flow, and we're going to be adding the cash flow on the second column. Okay, now let's come back to the cash flow here. So I'm going to start by giving it a class name for cash flow. So let's say cash flow, and then let's create what we call the cash flow header, and we're going to create a row, and let's say round regions, and let's create the title first. Let's say h2 dot title, and let's call it cash flow. Awesome. So here we are going to create rounded icon again. So within here, let me add this icon called trending up. So look at it, is imported from Lucid React. Let's give it a class of icon. Awesome. And let me duplicate this, and I'm going to add btn right here, and let's change the icon to charge let's say charge uh colon stack. Awesome. Now this is where it starts from, the cash flow starts from, and this is where it ends. So I'm going to create another row. As you can see, this icon is imported also from Lucid React. So let's say trend report. So here in the trend report, I'm going to copy this. Okay, I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to add btn primary to it. Awesome. And after that, let me use h3, and let's add savings. Okay, and after the savings, let me copy this again, and let's paste it here. So I'm going to add primary privilege here. Awesome. Now after that, let's come over here and create that surface, and I want to say plus 2.03%. That's the surface, and there we go. So here we need to add charts. Take a look at it first. We need to add a chart to here, but before we add the chart, let's just tie this. So I'm going to come over here, and let's select the cash flow. All we need to do is just say that it should let's select the round ATMs. So let's give it a gap of 8 user, and we justify content of less and awesome. That is cool. That is cool. And let's come back. I discovered that this rounded icon BTM. Okay, it's supposed to have a round. Okay, let's come over to our code right here. Okay, let's come to here. So okay, we need to give this a border radius. In this rounded BTM, we need to give it a border radius here so that it's always be cycle. So let's say border radius. Let's just give it 1%. Awesome. So let's come over to the cash flow. So here in the cash flow, we are going to style the icon also. So we're going to give it okay, no need of even uh doing that again. Let's just style the trend friend report, and let's give it imagine button, take it video, and we justify content of let's start, and see that for 10 people. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and add the um let's add the chart. So I'm going to open the terminal. So let me clear the terminal. So we're going to be using ReactJS in this project. All right, so we're going to install, let's say npm install. The first thing we're going to install here is chart. Let's say install chart.js. And also we're going to say React, let's say chart.js, and let's say -2. Awesome. So let's enter. Okay, we're having an issue here. So it's saying, okay, new minor version of npm. Okay, so it has been installed successfully, and let's see. Can you see? It has been installed, the both of them. So this is what I'm going to be using to add a chart here. So let's close this terminal and come over here. We need to import two things here. We need to import, number one is the chart. So we import the chart. So this chart we're importing, this one particularly is what, without it, this whole thing I want to do about the chart will not work. So it needs to be here for it to work. All right, though we're not going to be making use of the chart, but it still needs to be imported like this for it to work. So we're going to say line. We import the line from this. So all we need to do here is to add the line over here. So as I add the line, there are two things we need to pass to this line. The number one is the data, and number two is the options. So let's go and create the data and the option. So I'm going to say const here, and let's say config. Awesome. So here in the config, I'm going to have data, and I'm also going to have the options. Awesome. That is cool. So for my data, let's gather the data. So here in the data, the first thing I will do is to add the labels. So for the labels, I'm going to add month's name. So let's add this, and let's add the prayer here, and also add June. Okay, so I'm going to add up the October. October is okay. I will start from there. So the next thing I'm going to add is the data sets. So for the data set, we are going to do this. So I'm going to see that the data here will be, let's say, 3, 2, 5. You can add any number you wish, but this is the one I want to add. And uh, I'm going to also Let's add 21. So I'm going to give it a border width of 2, and let's give it a border color of let's say 157BF8. Okay, so line tension, let's make the line to curve. That is the line tension is 0.8, and that is cool. So let's just go ahead and add this. I'm going to add config dot data here, and also I'm going to add config dot options here. Awesome. So let's take a look at this. So you see how it looks like. So uh, what I need to do right now, I'm going to add a shadow. I was got a gradient background here. So I'm going to say fill, and let's see that the background color. So for the background color, I'm going to use a function here. Let's say context, and here I'm going to say const, and I'm going to say chat is equal to context dot chat. So let's do this. It's yes, and the chat area is equal to chat. Okay, so it's equal to chat. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if not chat area, then we are going to return as. Let's come over here, the top here. Let's create a function sequence. Let's call it gate gradient, gate gradient, and I'm going to return that here. So I'm going to return gate gradient here. So I'm going to pass these details and the chat area to this. So here, let's come over here and receive the context and also the chat area. So it will receive, and let's go ahead and write some code here. So I'm going to say let gradient to be equal to context dot rate. Let's see rate linear gradient. Okay, so we are going to pass 0 here, and let's see start area that's button, and let's pass 0 here also, and let's see chat area at the top. Awesome. Now the next thing I need to do is, let's say here that the gradient will be, let's say color stop, and I'm going to see 0.9 here, and I'm going to use MTVA. I'm going to say 21, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 8, and 0.2. Now let's come over here, say brilliant, and I'm going to say 0. So let's say transparent, and we need to go ahead and return the gradient. So let's return gradient here, and look at it. Can you see the shadow? So that makes sense. Now the next thing we need to do is let's add the options. So for in these options, I'm going to scale it. Okay, let's see. Let's see. You see how it looks like currently. Let's just scale it. Okay, so the scale here will be, let's say that's the Y, and we're going to say begin at 0, be true. Awesome. Now after the scale, let's come over here and add the plugin. So the plugin I'm going to add is legend. We want to hide it. I want to display it to false. Also, now look at this. Look at it. This is okay. Let me refresh this because we don't want this to show the people of the legend. Okay. Something is wrong somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to I have skills. Okay. All right. Okay, this is not length, it is legend. You can see it is hidden right now. That is awesome. So we are done with this, and we are good to go. For this import, we don't want to make use of it, make use of any of them. Okay, so there is that for this section. So let's expand this and see how it really looks like. Can you see that? This is beautiful, guys. Awesome. Great snake. Now let's go ahead and create the next section. Okay. Let's go ahead and create the next component. So I'm going to call the next component. Let me first of all close this. So let's call it statistic grid, and let's create the index.js, and also let's create the CSS, and let's create the component. Let's import the style, and let's come back to the dashboard. Let's import it, and let's add it after cash flow. Awesome. Now let's come over here. I'm going to give it a class name, of statistic we can uh, go ahead and start styling it. So we're going to create the first thing here. Let's say statistics. Okay, so I'm going to create a title. Okay, after the title, I'm going to create boxes, and I'm going to create a box. So within the box, let's create that icon begin, and here I'm going to use uh, this icon. So it's imported from React. Let's give it a class name of icon, and let's say danger. Awesome. And let's come over here and say div. I'm going to use h4, and I'm going to just say 357k, and let's say p dot method, and let's say user first. Okay, so uh, I'm going to copy this box, and I'm going to paste, and let's make changes. So this one I'm going to change the second one to flag. So the flag is imported from Lucid React, and I'm going to change this to primary. Okay, and let's change this to 20 countries. Okay, and let's change this one to global reach. Now let's paste another box. So in this next box, I'm going to change this to let's say cycle $sign. Okay, and this sheet is imported from the sheet React, and let's say 1 point, or let's shift to less than 1.km, and let's see transactions here. Okay, so after that, let's place the fourth box. I'm going to change this to star. Okay, now you can see the star is imported from the React, and I'm going to let's say 3k, and let's change this to reviews. Awesome. So we have created the bus, and it starts from here and ends here, and that is awesome. So let me target the end of this statistics. So that is the end. So I'm going to create contact history here, and within here I'm going to create a row, and let's say contact history. And I'm going to say here the title, and let's see, start history, and let's do, and let's use random icon region. And here I'm going to use an icon called pencil, and you see this pencil is imported right here from the React. Give it a class name of icon. Now I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to change this icon to search. And as you can see, search is imported right here from the React, and that was it. But that's for this row. Now let's go ahead and create, let's say p dot region. Okay, and I'm going to say, let's say 25 new contact added. Okay, so after that, let's create what I call profile container. So within the profile container, let's create a row, and let's say user. So within this, I'm going to create a profile, and within the profile, we're going to use an image. We're going to add an image here. So, but before then, let's go ahead and I'm going to say Jessica here, and let's create something. I'm going to place this in a div. That's a div, and let's go. I'm going to say p here dot media. I'm going to just write like $25. $25.9. Okay. Now I'm going to, for this row, I'm going to import, we're going to make use of this image, this user 1 to user 4. So I'm going to come over here, and let's see user 1. We're importing it from set, and let's see user 1 dot jpg. I'm going to just duplicate up to 4 times, and I'm going to change this. Sorry, and change this one. And let's change this. Let's just change this. So for this one, I'm going to use user 1. Now I'm going to copy this row. Let's copy it, and let's paste. So I'm going to use user 2 here. Also, in this user 2, we're going to give it person the name of Samuel. So let's say Samuel, and let's change this to $40, and let's paste again. I am going to use user right here, and let's go ahead and change this to leader, and let's say $70.5, and let's paste again. So I'm going to be using user for image here. Okay, and the name will be let's see James, and let's see $120. Awesome. So this is the markup, and we are done with this markup. Take a look at this. So let's see how it looks like. So we need to go ahead and style it right now. So I'm going to style this by coming here, copy this. Let's start here. So we're going to display this page, and let's say that page template colon repeat one like that, comma 2 dash one like that, and let's give it a gap of 30 pixels, and also margin top of 40 pixels. Let's tie the boxes. So the boxes there, we're going to display the this, and let's use a template colon repeat 2 comma 1 fr, and let's give it 10 pixels. And next, let's select the box instead. So for the box, we're going to do the text align center, and also imagine top and bottom of 20 pixels left and right 0. And let's say select uh, let's say statistics, select statistic, and select the rounded condition again. We need to give it the width of 3 rem and a height of 3 rem, and to prevent shrinking, let's add this. Okay, so let's also give it a margin order and a margin button of 20 pixels. Okay, so the next thing we need to work on now is let's say contact history, and allow the items to select start, and we also want to say that the contact history. Let's just go ahead and start with the file container. So for the profile container, let's give it to the box shadow. So the box shadow we're going to give to this shadow one, and the file will be so, and also the border radius will be. So the next we're going to select the contrast history. Let's select the user. For the user, let's do it to justify content of the start a gap of 10 pixels, and also margin of 20 pixels top and bottom, left and right 0. And the next thing we need to do, let's say the content history. user profile. We need to give it a root here and height to, and in order to prevent shrinking, let's do this. So that's okay. So contact history of the user, then we need it. Let's give it a font size of 12 user, and that is awesome. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so taking a look at this, there are some errors here. Refresh. So this is not well aligned, and there are some issues here that needs to be fixed. Awesome. So let's go ahead and fix it. So first is we have okay, the profile container. We have it matched together with this, and that is not what it's supposed to be like. Okay, so um, let's come back to this place, and let's take a look at this. Okay, and we have our profile container here. Awesome. And we have okay, okay. So this contact header is not supposed to end here. It's supposed to end here. So I'm going to add a div, close it here. Awesome. So this is the end of contact header here. And look at how it looks like currently. So this is it. That's what we're looking for. And it makes sense this way. Awesome. So let's go ahead and make it responsive, because as you can see here, as we keep on bringing it down, it doesn't look good like this. So let's see. Respond save code, and let's use the media query. The media query, and let's see. The map rate at map rate of 1000. We need to start this calculation. We calculate colon 100%, and it's cool. So this is how it looks like on mobile, and big screen. This is how it looks like on a big screen, and that's awesome, guys. It's cool. Okay, so uh, the next thing we need to create. Let's go to the next session and create it. Awesome. So I'm going to close this, and we create the transaction. Let's see, transactions. transactions. Okay, and let's create the index. All right, the index dot gss, and also transactions transactions dot css. So let's create the component transactions, and let's import the css file dot css. So let's come back to here in our dashboard. Let's import the transaction, and let's add it after statistic grid. Awesome. So what we're going to do right now is let's come up here. Let's come to this place, and let's say class name. Let's say transactions, and let's say ht title, and let's say recent transactions. Okay. And the next thing, let's create a table here. So within this table, let's create a key body, and right here, let's come up here. I'm going to create const, let's say transactions, and it will be equal to this. So first of all, we are going to make it to have searches, and we assign one to it. Name, let's say non-visible, and image. So the image I'm going to use for this is let's say profile, and so let's add it. So I'm going to add profile. Next is window. Let's say any window. Okay. Next is date. Let's just generate the current date. So let's say new date dot let's say let's to local date string, and next is the amount. So let's just say $230. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate this and make some changes. So I'm going to change this to T, and let me change this name to James. The image I'm going to make use of here, I'm going to make use of this tag image. So let me put it this tag dot png. So I'm going to say this tag here, and I'm going to just change the email to James, and let's change the price to something like 50. Now I'm going to duplicate again. I'm going to change this one to 1, and let's change the name to, let's say, Aloma, and the the way I'm going to make it over there is paper paper, right? And also like this. So I'm going to just change this to okay, and let's change the price to something like 100. And let's duplicate once more. So for this last one, I'm going to change the status to 0, and I'm going to change this to panel. See, and I'm going to change the no panel. And for this, I'm going to use this local wave image. So it is JPG. So I'm going to see it over here, and let me just change this to 5. So now we're going to look through these transactions. Copy. Let's look through it here. So let's see that map. Let's see data here and the index. So I'm going to return uh, return the TR, sorry, the TR, okay. And within this TR, what I'll do is I'm going to create a TD, and first within this TD, I'm going to create the profile, and the image will be data.image, and I'm going to give it a class name of name. Nice, awesome. So I'm going to create another TD. So for this TD, I'm going to give it a title, which will be equal to data.name, and data.name here. And let's see here, after the data.name is outputted, let's output the date, right? So and here I am going to add this class name. It's minimize. I'm going to add it to this one and also to this one. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is let's say TD as a title. The title will be data.email. Okay. And let's output here. I'm going to create a function here. Let's call it shorten. Let's say shorten text. Okay. Okay. And I have the text. And what we're going to do is that when we have the text, we are also going to get the marks, comma, max length, and so we're going to say if text dot length is greater than the max length, then we need to do something. We are going to return this plus text plus minus max length so text. So right here I'm going to say shorten. I'm going to pass the inner and also 11 at the length. Awesome. So this is how it is. Now the next thing we need to do is to create the TD. Let's see, title the data dot length and let's upload data dot material. So let's go ahead and say TD again. So right here I'm going to create a view and let's come up here. So right here, what is it comes? Let's just say let's say status will be equal to if data dot status which is equal to 1, then we're going to return success. Else if data dot status which is equal to 0, we are going to return true. Else we are going to return new session. Right? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to output status and also let's give it a class name for status. Awesome. So we need to go ahead and style this. So look at how it looks like currently, and you can go ahead now to style it. So I'm going to copy it. Let's give it a margin top of 40 and give it a box shadow of let's say shadow 1, then and color range for 20 pixel, and let's style the title within it. For the title, we're going to use the padding of 20 pixel, and let's style the table. For the table, calculate the weight of 100%, and also the font size of 12 pixel. Next, let's style the TB. We're going to do the just line of center and the padding. Nice pixel, and let's give it the font weight of font family of top and okay, and script. So let's select the table again, and let's select the profile within the table. Let's display it to be line block, and the next thing we need to do is let's select the table, and we're going to select success, give it the color of success, and let's give it the background of RGBA, and let's give color success RGB, and let's say to 0.2 over this. Next, we also need to give it a column of preview and the border radius of the preview. Awesome. So we just copy this, duplicate, and then change. So if it is filled, I'm going to say color danger, and let's say danger here. So if it is processing, let's say processing here. Okay, and let's say one in there. Running. Okay, and see, this is how it looks like. Awesome. So let's make it responsive. Let's say responsive code. So we're going to say media here, and we are going to say minimize. We need to hide the minimize here by saying display more. Awesome. So when the screen is 600 and below, we'll hide some of the things there so that the space will be enough to contain just a few things there. So as you can see, we have come to the end of creating this set component. So the next thing we need to do now is to create activate this button so that it will be able to toggle the light and dark mode, right? Awesome. So let's close this, and close this, and we'll now go and activate that button. To make it happen, this is what we do. Let's come to where we created that button, which is in the sidebar, right? So this is what it is. So this is it here. This is it here. So I'm going to change this to level. Okay. Let's change this to level. And right here, I'm going to create an input. And it's going to be check I'm going to do checkbox. Okay, and let me clear all this, and we're going to have on change events. We're also going to have the kit. Okay, so let's see how this works. So I'm going to come here and let's see const uh, active dark and set active dark. Let's see equal to use state. So here we are going to do some things. Let's say const, let's say storage key. Let's say is equal to 10. The storage key is equal to 10. So here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say JSON the class, right? Local storage, the page item, storage key, all right? So that is what we will get. Now, I'm going to come to this input that I just created here. So I'm going to say active dark here, and I'm going to say that this event, when it fires, it will be taken active dark to event of target dot get. Awesome. So this will help us grab the event and make use of it very well. So what I'm going to do now, let's come up here and let's create a use effect. Okay. And we're going to pass active dark here. Okay. So see use state and use effect is imported here. All right. So we're going to see that if active dark, then we need to do this. Or you see for this dark mode variables to be added, we must set this data theme on the HTML tag and give it a value of dark. So to do that, we're going to say document dot let's say first element style, which is the HTML tag. Let's set the attributes to it. We call it data thing. Okay, so we're going to set it to dark. Okay, awesome. Now we are also going to go to this store this in the local storage. So let's set items show key. We're going to just stringify it by saying json.stringify. Okay. Now I'm going to just instead of passing the name, just pass field. All right. And let's return. So as we are going to see, let me just copy this here, paste it here, and I'm going to change this to light, and I'm going to change this to false. Awesome. So look at it. Let's see how this works. See, it's already the dark mode. So look at it here. You see when it is unchecked, when it is checked, it will be dark, but when it is unchecked, it will be light. So this is it. Awesome. That is cool. That is awesome. And even when we refresh, it will still retain that dark mode. So what we do now is to hide. We need to hide this tick box. So I'm going to come to this place. Look at uh, this is the checkbox input. So I'm going to give it a class name in order for me to be able to hide it. Uh, let's give it a class name of uh, team checkbox. And let's copy this. And let's come to our sidebar and right here. And we say sidebar. Then let's say Fintech App. We're not going to use display none to hide it because if we do that, in some browsers it will not work. Some browsers will not be able to detect it. So we're going to hide it using some other ways, like we'll use opacity 0. All right. Again, let's give it a weight just to make sure that it is hidden. A weight 0 and a height of 0. And also let's give it a visibility of hidden, and let's position it as absolute, and let's say top minus 999 just to make sure it is hidden. Awesome. And let's take a look at it again. You see when we click, see it. Awesome. This is cool, guys. So we have been able to build this beautiful project today using ReactJS. Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel and you enjoy this video, please make sure you subscribe. Let's grow. Help me to grow on the YouTube by subscribing. Say thank you by subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next tutorial.